Ducati may have sold 46,000 Scramblers since its January 2015 discharge, however they're gunning for a considerably greater cut of the retro pie with their enormous-engined new 10,695-pound Scrambler 1100. Bigger and more strong than its Scrambler 400 and 800 pin, the 1100 has more snort and has a heap of Scrambler firsts, as electronic rider helps, twin brake plates and flexible suspension, brake and grasp levers. It's a retro that now has enormous bicycle execution to move down its looks. Scrambler 1100 best, and not very great, bits. The Scrambler's 1100 Evo-determined air-cooled engine may not convey the sort of fruity increasing speed you'll discover on the BMW R9e, Triumph Thruxton or Kawasaki Z900 RS, however the power conveyance, even from strolling pace, is perfect. The V-twin froths with simple, however not threatening, snort, and without its water coats the engine has that great Ducati throaty crude when you work the light activity twist grip. Off the throttle the debilitates have more snap, crackle and fly than a trendy person's range shot. Each ride is a V-twin, most prominent hits chime in. A light grip influences town to work simple, however grips are broadly divided, which is most likely why there's no here and there quick shifter, contrasted with Ducati's cutting-edge motors. It needs a moderate, positive change on the gear lever to abstain from discovering annoyance neutrals between machine gear pieces. The Scrambler 1100 is boundy quick for the street, obviously, and has quite recently the appropriate measure of simple to oversee control for cruising on a bright Sunday morning, yet you'd expect that bit additional from a 1.1-liter bump. It's 276cc greater than the likewise styled 803cc Scrambler icon, yet it makes only 13 bhp and 16 ft-lb more. Quite a bit of that is counteracted by weight, 206 kg for the Scrambler 1100 and only 186 kg for the icon. However, these are curb weights and the 1100 holds 1.5 liters more fuel. The Scrambler's electronic rider helps are the most progressive of any retro, thanks to Ducati's Bosch inertial measurement unit giving orders. That implies ABS, footing control, and even the self-dropping LED markers are lean delicate, which isn't simply cunning, everything works radiantly, as well. There are 3 riding modes with differing levels of footing control, which likewise can be balanced independently, in throttle reaction. The modes are renamed Active, Journey and City, from say, the standard thing, Sport, Touring and Urban. All have full power, with the exception of City, which cuts the engine's yield to 74 bhp. Contrasted with the littler Scrambler, the 1100 sits harder and more solid. It's 50 mm more extensive, 69 mm longer, and the seat is 20 mm taller and 43 mm longer for more space to move around. There's an additional plate in advance, held by Brembo 4-cylinder spiral calipers, a bigger 15-liter tank, a more extensive, 120/70/18 front tire and chunkier forks, up from 41 mm to 45 mm breadth. Presently the Scrambler has a shining enormous bicycle feel to it. With its common bar, seat and peg position, it's throughout the day comfortable for taller riders and sufficiently low for shorter ones, as well, yet wind assurance isn't awesome, as you'd expect on an uncovered exposed. Brakes are pressed with feel great power, and double reason Pirelli MT60 RS tires have gluey wet and dry grasp. The new steel trellis casing and Ali swingarm give the Scrambler 1100 a hardened vibe, and the suspension is firm as well, which is paradise on smooth streets. The harder you stick it into corners the better it feels. The Ducati is an unruffled, indecent little fiend with light controlling, transcending ground freedom and more cornering capacity than control. It's the ideal formula for no particular reason, yet demonstrate the Scrambler 1100 in an even street and it loses its self-restraint and the suspension activity is rough. The ride needs smoothness and level-headedness, and it hops, jumps and shimmies over street flaws. Somewhat jittery taking care of won't stress most Scrambler proprietors, since this is a bicycle that is as much about the way it looks and how it's assembled. The 1100 has the sort of tender loving care that would make a bimota proprietor pleased: billet Ali bar closes, twisted steel brake hoses, computerized dash, daytime running lights, movable suspension, quality class, tasteful motor surface completions and Brembos. The X detail in the front light mirrors the tape scramblers needed to put on to race some time ago. Go for the classic variant or the sport and you get more treats from spoked wheels to Allens. Much the same as the best retros from BMW and Triumph, the 1100's tender loving care and assemble quality won't abandon you needing for additional